Hey Shauna, how has your week been this week?
I mean, it was kind of weird, I guess. Like you said, I started telling people about what my cousin did to me, and like my cousin's sister Jenny has been really supportive. And she came with me to tell my uncle, who is Chris, my cousin's dad, and he basically was like, he's an idiot. Like, he's an idiot. He basically was like, well, are you ever going to get over it? Or why is everything about you? Even though, like, he's the one that hurt me. And I also talked to Chris, my cousin, his girlfriend. And because he was telling her that, like, telling her what happened, that it wasn't that bad or whatever, and that he was, like, lying to her. And so I told her what happened, or, like, what he told me happened. And she freaked out, not on me, but on him, and kicked him out, so now he's homeless. And I mean, I know that I shouldn't feel bad, but I feel like a million people's lives by telling
Mm-hmm. It's a lot to bear as one person. How has been the experience of, because that's a lot to kind of share your past experiences as you're just kind of realizing the extent of some of the things that you experienced as a kid. How have you responded to that in your own life?
I mean, like I said, it makes me, I know rationally that I'm not doing anything wrong by telling people, or like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, the fact that his life is bad now, like, it's not my fault, but I feel like I'm ruining lives, like, they're not together anymore, or like, they can't come over for Easter, like, now I'm struggling with Easter, like, they can't come over for Easter because I don't want to be around him, I have a restraining order against him, like, my grandpa, my dad, and everybody on my side, and they don't want him off either, but it still feels bad that I'm ruining the family dynamics. Yeah.
Well, and I think you make a good point when you're saying that rationally you know that this isn't your fault, but then there's a disconnect and still feeling that there's still some responsibility. You said that you had a cousin who came with you as you talked, and how has she shown you support through this?
Well, she's my cousin Chris's sister, so he's the one that hurt me. Or like did nasty shit. That was a child. And, he did the stuff to me, but it's his sister Jenny, and she thinks that he's disgusting, and she doesn't really want anything to do with him. But yeah, she's been pretty supportive. And, I don't know.
So it sounds like even despite you sharing the story, she's still upset at his actions, not at your telling.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean that's really been the normal response from people, but like I said, it's just me. I guess that feels bad. And I'm not sure. Like I know it's kind of stupid that I feel bad or that I have any like empathy for him or whatever because he's the one that did this. And it's really hard because like he's family, so am I supposed to press charges on something that I don't remember? Or do I want to press charges and be like up on the stand and get told that I'm lying? It's not worth it. So I'm really struggling with figuring out what I'm supposed to do with all of this information.
Well, I want to take one step back. You said you felt stupid. And I think there's a way to reframe that because you're not stupid. That shows that you care, that you have empathy towards other people and how those are the feelings that your cousin didn't have towards you when he was doing these things to you.
Yeah, that's true.
When you think about going through kind of like this legal process and all of that, what would you say is probably the most daunting or the most scary?
Well, I just don't want to do it just because, like I said, I don't remember any of it. So it's kind of like he's telling me these things, but would he really admit it in front of a judge? No. No, and nobody knew. I didn't even know. So I'm just struggling with that piece because I don't know. Like I said, I don't want someone out there calling me a liar because I really don't know what happened.
Well, if we were to take the legal piece out of it, whether he's legally convicted or any of that, if we set that aside, how can we help you process the things that are just coming to light?
I don't know, I guess. It was good advice to tell me to talk to people about it last week, but just, I don't know, I think that it's affecting my work. I haven't been to work in a month now. I just keep calling in, I guess. I'll go in and then I'll leave. And that's not really me, but I'm also kind of afraid that financially, like my boyfriend can pay the bills for now, but I have bills too. I'm not going to get kicked out of our house or anything.
Are there other areas that you see it affecting maybe your day-to-day living?
Not really. I guess just like family involvement and like the work piece has just kind of been kind of weird. I just haven't been feeling the greatest. And I think it's just because my mind's stuck on like what I'm supposed to do with those information. Like I said, I'm not sure what would help process it, I guess, but I don't know. I really like to throw a punch in on my head.
Maybe that would help for a split second, but you'll still be left with maybe some of these repercussions of needing to get to work and things like that. When you're at work, can you kind of walk me through what work is like? Maybe the circumstances that make you feel like, oh, I think I'm done for the day.
Well, I work for Bite Squad, and so I just basically deliver food. I like food from restaurants and I deliver it. So by no means is it like a hard job. I think not going to work all started when I started having side effects with my meds and all that. Because like I was on Seroquel for like 10 years, and now they're making me have like this violent, like eyes are rolling, and it looks like I'm rolling my eyes at people, or like I'm having facial twitches, and it's really uncomfortable and it hurts, and my fibro makes me tired already, and I'm chronically tired all the time. So I think that just having this like extra thing, like for a while, these side effects are making me like not feel comfortable driving. I guess not too long, but now we're still doing the taper off of the Seroquel, which I'm not sure why the psychiatrist is taking so freaking long, but
why it's taking so long to
taper off of it. Okay. Because she's already put me on something else, so I'm not sure why I still have to even take it. It doesn't really make sense to me because everything that I've looked up doesn't say that I should be on it still. Which, I don't know, maybe she's just trying to make sure I don't have any side effects coming off of it, but I don't know. She'll buff out.
So. I think you make a good point that she's trying to maybe avoid certain symptoms or repercussions of maybe cutting cold turkey. Have you used medication before in the past?
I've been on Seroquel for 10 years, so I've had some different meds before, but not for too long, because once I found Seroquel, I was working. And when I was on Abilify for a little bit, this is what happened. Eye movements and whatnot. So I'm not sure why my psychiatrist put me on Seroquel, because she knew that this could be like a side effect after being on it for too long. But she did. So here we are.
Sorry, explain this one thing to me. You use Seroquel and that worked, and then now you're being weaned off of it?
So I was on Abilify before the Seroquel, so like over 10 years ago. I was on Abilify for a little bit for my bipolar. Okay. And I was on it for like a couple of weeks, and then I started having space twitches and whatever, so they took me off of it because it was painful. And then they put me on Seroquel. And Seroquel worked for a while, but a side effect of it is if you're on it for too long, you start having the same problems. So I'm not sure why my psychiatrist thought it would be a good idea to keep me on the Seroquel, even though she knew that that was a possibility, and I've already had that before.
Right. Yes. Okay. So, well, I'm sorry that added on to all of this stress you have with family. Now you have medication issues that are kind of creating this perfect storm of difficulties.
Oh, and you know, these eye movements and stuff. So my friend Tiffany's getting married, and I was over there helping set up stuff for their wedding, like getting like centerpieces and stuff ready. And her boyfriend or fiance, whatever the fuck you want to call him, her fiance came over and was like rolling his eyes at me and making fun of me. And I was like, hey, that's not cool. Like I can't control this, and it's actually painful and something that I'm self-conscious about. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And he did it again. And I mean, it made me pissed off. Like I just really wanted to hit him.
And how did you respond?
I mean, I told Tiffany, I'm like, that's not really cool. You better get your boyfriend, or you better find another bridesmaid to fit my dress. That's what I told her. I mean, maybe I overreacted, but it pissed me off because I told him, I set a boundary with him and he crossed it. And I already did. So, I stepped over that.
Well, I think I'm happy that you advocated for yourself and you communicated how this is kind of out of your control.
Yeah.
You said that you maybe overreacted or whatever. What, in your mind, how do you feel like you could have or should have reacted then?
I don't know. I guess maybe I didn't know. I don't know how to handle things without getting mad sometimes. Like stuff like that doesn't really, it just really gets under my skin. But I don't really know how to handle that kind of stuff without getting mad. But people say it's an overreaction. But I guess I don't know how else I would handle it.
Is that something that we could work on together as maybe different responses to various things?
Instead of anger, maybe.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I get angry a lot, I guess. And that took me a long time to realize, but I guess it's just like my default response is to be angry about something rather than being like I don't really get sad very often. It's more anger. Yeah, it's more anger than anything else.
So, can you walk me maybe through some of the things that happened prior to working up to you becoming maybe angry or maybe overreacting, as you say?
Activities?
Yeah, we could use that as the example.
Well, I was helping them make centerpieces for their wedding or whatever. I was helping Tiffany, and he wasn't home yet, but he got there when I was already there. And he's stupid, but he like started talking to us, and he noticed like my eye rolling and whatnot, and then he started doing it while it was in conversation. And at first, I didn't really think anything of it, and then I was like, "Hey, that's not cool, it's something that I'm actually struggling with and working on like getting fixed, and it really bugs me." And like Tiffany didn't say anything, so I was kind of annoying. Like it's her fiance, she probably should have said something. And then he like walked away or whatever, and then he came back and was like rolling his eyes at me. And I freaked out. I was like, like find someone else to fit in my dress if he does it again. Like I'm not gonna be in your wedding, I'm not gonna help you guys anymore, I'm done. And it seems like there's no in between, I guess, between like either leaving or getting mad. There's no like, I guess I don't know what else I could have done.
Well, did you notice any patterns or things in like working up to you getting mad and saying find somebody else who can fit into the dress?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I get really quiet before I get mad, I guess. That's kind of a theme. I get really quiet and then just it all comes out.
So in that moment of like becoming quiet, what's going through your mind?
I'm looking for a way out. I'm looking for a way to leave, or I'm trying not to hit someone. Like I don't really fight that often, but like that I would if I had to. If like someone did this again, like if he was to do it again, like it would feel really great to do something.
So what would be the pros and the cons if you were to go through with that emotion?
I guess the pros would be he would know how mad I was. He would know that it wasn't cool. He would also know not to fuck with me anymore. I guess the cons would be like Tiffany might be mad at me, but at this point I don't really give a shit if she's mad at me because she wasn't really sticking up for me when I needed her to. Because I see it as if he's her responsibility. Or she's his responsibility. No, he's her responsibility, you know. Like she should take care of her own husband or fiance or whatever and make sure that he treats her friends right. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I think that it would be nice if we could control other people's reactions, but unfortunately we can only control ours.
Yeah.
So maybe brainstorming those ways when you're feeling I want to get out or I need a way out, finding alternatives.